someone said, I want you to do these murals, but they were high in the air, 20 feet in the air. So I had to get up on scaffolding. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get up on scaffolding. Well, let's remove this fear of any height and let's take our buckets of paint and climb up there, you know. And then the cool thing is that somebody showed me the dream called a scissor lift, and I learned how to use a scissor lift, and I was up and down, and I'm like, oh man, I feel like Michelangelo, this is the best. And meanwhile, my kids are running all down below me, you know, running around while I'm doing this. So, hi, my name is Veronica Lake. Welcome to my art studio. This studio is part of my home in Cedar Mill, and we've been here for about 20 years, and I just love living in this neighborhood, and I've just felt so blessed and honored to be able to teach art, to do my art here, and I have people coming to my home, and it's just a really great privilege. I've been a professional artist now for 26 years, and I've been painting since I was in middle school. Lived in Montana in a little tiny town, no art classes available, and I was going to become an artist. I was determined to figure this thing out. So what did I do? I went to the library. I studied everything I could, and I just started working on it on my own. I always thought, well, that will be my side gig, you know. So when I went to college, I told my folks, well, no, I'm not going to study art because you can't make any money being an artist. And I couldn't believe it when I put my paintings in a show and I sold all my paintings except one, and I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I could make money doing this. So that was really wonderful for me. As the years progressed, I started painting murals. I've probably painted about 50 murals in the Portland area, different businesses. I really decided that I couldn't just stick with one theme because there's too many beautiful things out there. I couldn't do just still life painting. I couldn't do just landscape. I wanted to explore them all, and I didn't want to be stuck. I didn't want to be stuck on just watercolor or acrylic. I wanted to figure out, can I combine some mediums? Can I do that? Like one of the things I was working with were alcohol inks, and I thought, this is really cool. Alcohol inks are so fun, and I was doing them on tile. We made clocks in summer art camp. We did lots of things. And then I used photo paper, and I was like, oh, horses, wouldn't that be fun? We'll do horses. And I was able to pull up the birch trees with the alcohol and just loved it. Artists put life into something and make them alive. And so my buffalo, I called him the, what did I call him? Oh, the monument. I called him the monument. And I put him into snow, and I've got steam coming out of his nose. And one of my favorite techniques I've used here, and that is using a toothbrush. I paint with a toothbrush all the time. I know you think I'm mad, and maybe I am, but it's just fantastic because you can create all these lovely textures you could never really create with a regular brush. It's just so, so great. I applied, with the toothbrush, I applied Frisket in here, and I used it with paint. Make sure you clean out your brush after Frisket. And then I was able to just create this lovely effect. And currently, I'm teaching a class in my home and studio. I teach on Wednesdays from 9 to noon, and then up at Touchmark in the West Hills. And it's an assisted living area, or you can be on your own there too, but you do not have to be a resident of Touchmark to come to these classes on Thursdays from 2 to 5. But here's some techniques that we're learning. And so this one was done with a toothbrush. I incorporated Frisket in here and then painted. With this one, I used a fan brush. This one here, I used a sea foam sponge. This is where you paint, and then you use a sharp edge like the credit card here. You push in and you get lots of nice furry texture there. This is wet onto wet, and then this is crayon. So these are the kind of things you can do to create pets like. This is my cat. He's deceased now, but that makes it all the more special. This is Sherbert, my cat. And so I was able to use the techniques. I used a toothbrush in here. And here's another technique that I use that I've never seen before, but it was something I kind of came up with. When I was working with Frisket and I was using old brushes, I was trying to figure out, how do I get these nice lines? Well, you can go to the store and you can buy those little nibs, right? The nib lasts for about 2 or 3 times, and then you're tossing it out because it's all gummed up. Well, guess what? You can use an old-fashioned straw, and what I do is I cut it at an angle and then have a corner on it so it's like a fountain pen. So you can dip it in your Frisket and you can make these lovely whiskers just like this. So fantastic to use. But I love my little Sherbert. This is called the boss, because you know cats own you. You don't own them, just so you know. My art is about telling the world about goodness and love and kindness, and that's what my art is about. I want to not just paint a pretty picture or make something look like a great photo. I want it to say something. I want it to be emotive. And it's one of the things that I teach my students too. We can all do great photography, but it isn't about photography. It's about saying something. What do I want to say? I want to say that there is hope in this world. You know, just talking about the art isn't as fun as seeing something get done. So I thought I would do a little bit of a demo work for you. This is a piece everybody probably recognizes this place, the Japanese garden. And this is where there's the big waterfall back behind it. And the painting itself, you know, it looks pretty fine, but we want to be creating a piece that is just like, wow. Where's the wow factor? So let's do some wow factoring. Let's incorporate some pastels. And I tell my students, you know, don't get consumed with having to buy the best of the best. You don't need the best of the best. You need to just go and you need to start painting. And I tell my students also that if they're going to invest in anything, buy decent paper. Paper is key, because if you have junky paper, it all bubbles up and it's not that great. So let's put some wow factor in this piece. I'm going to go ahead and get in some more colors. One of the things that I really think about a lot is, where is the light? Where is the light is so key. I'm always saying that to my students. Where do you see the light? The light is key, and light to me is very important because it reveals truth and tells us something about ourselves and about the creator who made these things. So I am just going to do a quick little demo on this just to show you how I work to make something have a little more wow factor. And I think the painting's pretty good overall, but it could be even better. Get some more of the leaves in the water. This is such fun to go here. I highly recommend it if you haven't been here. And maybe I wanted another one here, so you can pop in more color here. Let's see, how about here? And I do spray my art so that it's protected. It is such a privilege to be an artist, honestly. I mean, think about it. We get the ability to spend time and really contemplate things and think about, like, how was this made? And the beauty of our world is just fantastic. It's fun. I love people. I love doing this. I particularly love working with older people. And, you know, it is just something that they can do. They don't have the physical ability to, like, get up and move and do all the hiking and things that I like to do. but they can sit and they can do art. I think anybody can do art, really. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it and being willing to try. If you don't try, you can't do it. There's just no way around it. So I'm getting a little more wow factor in here. I hope you see where I'm going with this. The method to my madness is what I say. Push this back. And I want to kind of scrub it a little bit. And yes, my hands are going to be really dirty. I might have to wash them a bit when I go to pick anything else up. Push back. And I should tell you too that, you know, I try to practice what I preach. I think that anybody can do art, and I didn't have a lot of professional training in art. I went to school to be a lit teacher, for goodness sakes. Yes, I got to incorporate that with the books that I'm working on, but with my art, I didn't go to art school. And I love it so much that to me it isn't work. It's like, oh, I'm going to try that new technique. I'm going to go in my studio and see if that will work. And it's a matter of being disciplined too, because it takes a lot of time. A lot of people just think that suddenly artists are artists overnight. It just takes a long time to be good at your skill, at what you're doing in your trade. And just be serious about it. Set time aside and get it done. So if you want to come and see some of my art, I mentioned to you that Westgate Bible Church has the Hush Story paintings, and they're pretty big paintings, so they're kind of fun to see live. But right here in Cedar Mill, you can go to CT Bistro, one of my favorite Thai restaurants, and all of my art has been there for a number of years, so you can check that out also. I have to admit that I'm not a big social media girl. It's probably been to my demise because I know everybody's on there. I just don't like it, and I figure if I'm going to be known, it's just going to have to be who I am, and that I don't need to push that. And so far, I've always had people in my classes. It's really fun to teach here at home. I work in my dining room and set the whole thing out, and then it's nice. I want to tone that blue down just a little bit with some brown. If you want to dumb down a color, you want to use complementary colors. You want to shoot across the color wheel and then dumb that color down, because colors in the distance, you don't want them to be too bold. These are the ones that I want to pop. So, are we getting there? Let's see. Let's think about this. Gosh, I feel so privileged to be recorded. I just feel very honored. So, thank you for coming to film me. There we go. Well, I think you get the idea here. I'll just kind of hold this up a little bit and kind of see how. Now there's a little bit more wow factor with this piece. And again, I would spray this because otherwise the pastel will come out onto the glass, which will not be a good plan. And I can keep working with this. You know, I just don't ever tire of trying new things. I'm all about that. It's just part of how I do it. Anyway, I think that I've covered most everything. I'm really happy to have shared my art with you, and I hope that I will have an opportunity to meet all of you in the future. Thank you.